For all the new stuff, press on the bell icon and make sure you get mobile and email notifications from eTimes.
This is Rohini Raja Gopalan, and she organized with ease about 2.5 years back. And she's into space consulting and space organizing, which is really tough for us, uh, in these busy times. And I'm sure lockdown is keeping you busy because all we need to do at this hour is declutter our stuff. So let's start by knowing that how did you get into this field? I mean, how did you
Um,
started this?
so I didn't even know this existed as a career, and it was about 3 years back that I stumbled upon Marie Kondo's book about tidying up,
Mm-hmm.
and that's when I realized that it's actually a service that people provide where they go and help organize homes. I think when you do it so naturally, you don't realize that it's something that others might not be able to do, or might need some help with. And from there, I read a lot. There are a lot of online courses in from America and UK. I just wanted to understand what's the science behind it. Even for me, a lot of times I used to struggle with the fact that I would have tidied up my cupboard and I was a fairly organized person. And in 15 days, 20 days later, I used to see clutter coming back again. So for me, the whole thing was, how do I not keep doing this again and again so that I can use my weekend to perhaps read more, do things that I like more,
Yeah,
um,
totally.
where it's not something that really consumes my whole day or my whole time up, right? Like, especially if you're somebody who likes things neat and your space is not, a lot of your time goes in tidying up your space and
Yes.
keeping it in a particular way. I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of reading, a lot of attending courses, getting mentored by people who do this professionally abroad made me
Mm-hmm.
realize that there's a lot of science behind it. It is not just you just coming and making folding things nicely and putting it back and going. That's when I realized that there's a lot of stuff that we hold on to emotionally, stuff that we constantly keep
Oh yes.
rearranging. There are better ways that we can keep things, and that led me to start Organize with Ease. I worked with a couple of friends. They were generous enough for me to work on their spaces, and for me the question was, how can you maintain it? One is somebody coming and doing up your space and going it, and it also should be sustainable. So what I
Yeah.
saw was the three friends that I worked with could maintain their cupboard to almost about 70 to 80% the way I'd left it. And also their buying patterns changed, which was a very big one for me, because I feel like that is a
Mm-hmm.
game changer. If you stop
Yeah, yeah.
consuming the way you did, a lot of it would change. Because I think when you tidy up your cupboard, you actually really know how much you're consuming. Like, science says that
Mm-hmm.
we use 20 to 30% of what's there in our wardrobe. And I think in lockdown, we've
Yeah.
literally used 5% of what's there in our wardrobe. So,
I know, but there are, so many clothes that we just don't want to part with. I mean, there is some inspiration dress that we want to get back into. There is a very Purana t-shirt that we want to, hang on with because it just feels so comfortable. It's really important to know what to let go, actually. Only then you'll have a tidy wardrobe.
yeah, but also I think sometimes you just need help to let go. And with most people that we've worked with, I realize that once we get started on the declutter journey, as they go through, they're able to tidy up a lot more in different areas of their home, be it their kitchen, be it their books, be it like their personal items, because you then start evaluating things very differently. I
Yeah.
think that is what is important, because I think, like you said, like I tell people that until you declutter, you're never going to have an organized space, because it's impossible. Like, if you
Yes.
tell me that there's nothing that you want to let go of in your wardrobe and you wear everything, I don't believe you. And until you really declutter honestly,
Mm.
it's always going to be that mess. It's always going to be you wearing those four of your favorite tops or t-shirts or whatever
Yeah,
it
yeah.
is, and
Yes.
and just pick up
They're
what's
always
there
on
on
the
the
top and we always take them out to wear.
exactly. So then you wonder what's the other 80% of your wardrobe doing, right?
Yes, that's true.
I
So I
think
was, sorry, you were saying something.
go ahead, go ahead.
So I was just browsing through the page and I saw that there are a lot of celebrity and influencer clients that you have. So what Can you tell us what kind of issues that they have? I mean, I'm sure they have bigger wardrobes and stuff, but still, are like, what are the issues that they come up with?
I think when you live in a place like Bombay, any space is a small space. However big your house is, or how I think after living in Delhi and Bangalore, and now I live in Bombay, like the houses are small, the spaces are small, and that's how the city is. Um, People have to have that kind of space. I think with people that I work with, especially influencers, what is really challenging for them is there's a lot of PR parcels that keep coming in. There's a lot of stuff that they use for their
Yeah.
shoot. To really
Mm-hmm.
have a system where the things that come in and go out without really messing up your basic wardrobe. And when you are on an average getting, like with most people that I've seen, they at least get 3 to 4 PR packages every day.
Oh,
So
yes.
like really, yeah, so I think that really is a challenge because even if you're not consciously shopping, there's always stuff coming in. And when your job requires you to use those products to create content, so you need to really have proper systems to ensure that it doesn't get overwhelming. Because like they use a lot of makeup products to create something 6 months later or 4 months later. So I think really having systems, because there's so much of inflow, that's very important with influencers. And also I think when you work with certain profile of people, they invest in a lot of pieces which they might not wear tomorrow but might wear it after 2 years, wear it after. So how do you store them? How do you literally ensure that these are people who have active social life, are out every evening?
Mm-hmm.
So to really bring about that ease in their wardrobe where they're able to see what they have, be able to mix and match stuff, even what is stocked up, which you use only during a wedding season or a festive season, being kept in a way that it's easy for them to access. I think that becomes really a challenge because
Mm-hmm.
their wardrobes are not basic. Their wardrobes are not just, a bunch of work clothes and a bunch of evening wear. It is extensive. So really to be able to create that kind of space that they feel comfortable accessing, seeing what they have. And the whole idea always, whether they're celebrities, influencers, or regular people like you and me, the idea is you should have fun with your wardrobe. You have paid money
Yes.
and bought every piece. So like, that should
Mm-hmm.
be the ease that you're able to create, whether it's a one cupboard wardrobe or a five-door wardrobe, to be able to navigate it without struggling and looking for things. I think that's where we come in.
I was going through the post and I came up with this very interesting post that you have put it up on Instagram, that every time you open your wardrobe, it should look like that you have entered a party where you like everyone around. So it should be that neat, that beautiful, and that, breathing space should be there.
I
So
think more
that,
than
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
sure.
more than neat and beautiful, I think you should love every outfit in your wardrobe, right? Like for me,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to blindly close my eyes and pick what I want to wear, like I can have one or two of those outfits which I need, perhaps like that don't make me feel that great, but I need to keep them. It could be like I see this all the time in everyone's wardrobe, a white kurta when you need to wear for a morning occasion or something like that. But
Mm-hmm.
my primary wardrobe should be fun, should be exciting, where I don't need to be standing in front of my wardrobe for 10 minutes every day and feeling, oh, I don't have anything to wear.
Oh yeah, that thought.
It should be like I can wear anything and walk out, right? So imagine 10 minutes of every day and 10 minutes of morning, evening when you're stepping out just kills your
Mm-hmm.
mood if you don't have the right kind of wardrobe. And the whole
Oh
day
yes.
starts with energy of I don't have things. So
Mm-hmm.
subconsciously, that's what is getting reiterated every day to you, that instead of feeling abundant and great about what we own, we're feeling like, oh, I don't have things. I don't like what is there is not fitting me because we're holding on to things that are a size smaller, hoping to lose weight. And so those are the kind of negative subconscious reiterations that are constantly happening to us. So I feel like you should be in love with your wardrobe. Like if somebody says I'm taking clothes from your wardrobe, you should be ready to fight with them.
Great. So shall we get started? Where do you want to take us through organizing the
Uh,
wardrobe?
So I think couple of points for everyone who's online in terms of organizing wardrobe. I think first, like I said, declutter and declutter and how declutter is what is important. I think before we get into me and Gunjan spoke that we'll do a few folding techniques to show that so that there's some takeaway from this live. But I think any amount of organizing in your wardrobe would not work if you really don't know how to declutter. And for that,
Mhm.
it's really important that you are able to let go of things that you're not using. So, a couple of things for sure you should let go of. If there's still
Mhm.
things with price tags lying in your wardrobe, please say bye bye, see you to them. And if you're women on this live, I think, or watching this later, and this works for most of us. I think if we've shopped something, we look for the next quickest occasion to wear it if we love that outfit.
Oh, yes.
And yeah, and the fact that you've not moved it out of price tag, a lot of people tell us that, oh, I've not seen it, I didn't know I had it. We have
Yeah.
great memory. If we really loved it, we would have worn it by now. So if it's still with your price tag, please let it go. If it's size smaller, let it go. Because I think if you lose weight, you would be so excited that you would want to shop for new clothes and buy new stuff, which is more trendy.
Oh, yeah. Like,
And
this is something we don't realize that the moment we lose weight, we want to buy new stuff, but we'll keep hanging on to that dress that you've kept it.
yeah, and I always tell people that if you're confused whether you want to keep it or not, just ask yourself, would you buy it again? If you think you
Mm.
really love it and you'll buy it again for the price that you bought it, then it's worth keeping. Otherwise, it's prime real estate space, and more than anything else, it's your mental health and how you feel every day. So there's no point in making your day and your whole wardrobe look messy because you're holding on to 10,000 rupees of 20 items or 5 items that you've accumulated over bad buys. So it's all in the past.
Mhm.
Let go, take out everything and categorize things. So I think the key thing is to keep all your t-shirts together, all your pants together, all your skirts together, all your scarves together, all your ties together. So when you're getting ready and you know what you want to wear, you're just looking in that one particular section.
Yeah.
And I think the third thing is to optimize your wardrobe space. You know what you wear on a daily basis. Keep like your the space in your eye level for things that you wear daily. So, like for me, my eye level has my dresses because that's what I wear on a daily basis. I don't on a daily basis wear for work jeans or t-shirt or anything. So they are a cupboard lower because I don't need to access them on a daily basis. So my eye level is always what I'm using often. So if you're somebody who goes to work in trousers and top, hang your trousers and tops. And even if you don't have space to hang them, keep your trousers and tops in a level that when you are opening your cupboard, that's what you see because that's your maximum utilization. So literally plan your wardrobe because I think if you're not wearing Indian clothes often, or if you're not wearing your winter wear often, like especially in a place like Delhi, where you have
Mm.
seasonality of outfits and clothing, stack them down. You could use your bed storage or you could use your lock to put them away so that you're not seeing it. Like for me, we use our winter wear only twice or thrice a year, and they're kept in a place where you always plan and take it out. It's not like you have to all of a sudden go looking for it. So then it's easier for you to access them. So I think the first few things before we get into tips on how to keep your clothes is declutter, compartmentalize it, put all things similar, because what happens is when you want to get ready, something is somewhere else, so it just becomes like a hodgepodge process. And a lot of people that I've spoken to, they spend most of the time looking for stuff, be it
Yeah.
jewelry, accessories that you need to get ready with. So I think just ensure that you have a spot for everything. So like today, if I have a spot for my stockings and I've shopped a new stocking and come, unpack it, remove it from the packaging and put it in the place that it goes. So I think just having this basic system. So even when your clothes come back from laundry, you know where what goes rather than just them sitting on your chair for a few days and not getting attended to. Kalpana, I'm just reading your comment saying that right
Yeah.
boxes to invest. There are plenty of them. If you're in a place where this one, I use a lot of IKEA for wardrobes because I find them inexpensive. They work great. You can use multiple of them. They come in different sizes. So I highly recommend file folding. So what file folding does, especially for your nightwears, t-shirt, jeans, is that one, you can see everything in one go. So like literally if it's like double the size, triple the size, whereas in a stack, you like what we spoke in the beginning, you're only accessing things on the top. like the ones in the bottom, even if you have to pull it out, and especially if you're in a hurry and you're pulling it out, the whole stack falls and the whole
Oh yeah.
wardrobe gets
Yeah.
messed up. So when you,
Mm-hmm.
like, say for example, if I have a box just for my nightwear, even if I'm in a hurry, so what happens is when I pull it out, like right now I'm holding it in a very weird angle, but when I pull it out, nothing else falls. So even for me, when I have to put things back, I just need to make space and put it in, and it barely takes me a minute. I don't need to like worry about, and I can see everything in one go. And when even if it gets messy, I just need to clean up that one box rather than having to
One
clean up
box.
my whole wardrobe.
Oh yeah,
So
that's
I
far more
feel
easy.
like, yeah, like even for me to tidy up ever, like what I started initially, that I used to feel always constantly I'm cleaning up, it doesn't happen anymore right now. If I just need to look at my jeans or trousers and see what I'm wearing, what I'm not wearing, it's only that one small box that I need to look at rather than trying to do the whole wardrobe in one go. There's some question here. I'm unable to just stick to routine of boxes and my wardrobe's very deep, can't use them effectively. So if you have deep wardrobes, what you can do is in the back, like have two boxes. So in the front, have boxes that you use often, and in the back, have things that you're not using regularly, so that the first front part of your wardrobe is things that you use often. So in the back, like in mine, even mine is fairly deep. In the back, I have my scarves and dupattas, which I don't use very often. So when I need to use them, I do have the luxury of time to pull it out and use it. And what you also can do is stack one box on top of the other. So even if like if you're doing two boxes of this, so it's easy for you to see them and put them back. So it still works great. And especially with deep wardrobes, I would highly recommend using boxes. And you can just start initially by using your regular shoe boxes, or, you know, a lot of times during Diwali and stuff, we get rectangular boxes or plastic trays that, like, I have these plastic trays that, so like I feel like
Yes.
just compartmentalizing
Mm-hmm.
things, like these basic ones which you find anywhere. So I feel
Yeah.
like just compartmentalizing things for any area. So before we get into folding, like say for example, even with jewelry, like I'm using this box here. So it has small compartments and it's
Okay.
transparent. So for
Mm-hmm.
me, it's like for me to just get ready, I just need to see this box and I know what I want to wear, and I
Mm-hmm.
can always stack more on top of each other. And it's the same funda even for clothes, shoes, bags, anything, that when you just compartmentalize them and have it in a way that it's visible to you, look at this, like you actually can
Yeah.
see what is. So it's never going to be difficult for you to get ready. And even if you're in a hurry, you pull something out. For me to just organize this box is going to take me like just a few minutes, not even like 5 minutes, rather than
Oh yes.
having to clean up like a tray which has like full of things which is all mixed and matched. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like just use smaller boxes. Like another example here is the perfumes and stuff, right? Like, can you see this? Yeah.
Okay, it's a
So I've just
tray where
used like,
you've kept all the
it's
perfume
just
bottles.
basic tray. Even in your bathroom, like use these smaller plastic trays to just put things together. Like you can have
Mm-hmm.
one tray for perfumes, you can have one thing for your body care items, you can have
Mm-hmm.
one for your hygiene items. So I just feel like just compartmentalizing them. You know, like today, if I want to go buy a perfume, I just need to look at this and I know what I have and what I don't have. So otherwise, what happens is it's spread all over. For
Mm-hmm.
us, when we're getting ready and when we need to access, we actually don't know what to look for where. And
Yeah.
it just looks very overwhelming. And just using a couple of boxes, it could be like, for example, I'm using this currently to just put my hair stuff. It's nothing fancy.
Okay.
It's like some old pottery stuff I made in a pottery class. And I just have it in this, but I know like this is my go-to spot to put anything related to my hair. So then when I need to look for it, even like a 5-year-old can follow this because they know where it is, and it's just a no-brainer. And all these small things, I think, eventually helps you to save time, and also that whole thing of buying stuff that you already have really reduces. Can we just take this question? How do we compartmentalize Indian wear, like office Indian suits in a box, when we don't have hanging space in a cupboard? So it also with Indian clothes, it really depends what your routine is. What I've noticed with most people is when the cloth comes back from wash, it goes to a typical dhobi and it comes back. And you always wear it just like that. Very few people that I've realized actually iron it out or steam iron it again and wear it. So what I would do with Indian wear is I would put all my leggings in a basket. So if you, especially if you're wearing kurtas that you mix and match dupattas with, I would do a box of my leggings, and even in that I would further compartmentalize it, where I would do my churidar separately, I would do my patiala separately, and my regular dhoti pants or whatever I have. So it's easier for me to look for them when I want to get ready, because typically we know in our head what we want to wear with what. And I would do the same for my dupatta. And my salwar, if I don't have hanging space, I would do smaller stacks in which I would keep them, because I feel like when you do a large stack, like literally, like most people I see go up 20 pieces or 30 pieces in a stack, that's when the whole problem of just using the top few come in. So I would, if you are the kind who irons and wears your stuff out, then I would tell you to file fold. But if you're not the kinds who irons it and wears it, just keep smaller stacks, because I think it's just far more easier to see what you have. Yeah.
Okay.
Should I show you a couple of folding techniques while we have
Oh,
the
yes,
time for it?
definitely. Yes,
I'm
waiting
just
for it.
going to turn the camera in a way that I. One second. Just give me a
I guess
minute.
it's going to be the best part of the live, where we're going to see how exactly to fold what kind of cloth. So like if it's a denim, how do we need to fold that? Or
Can you
if it's
see
a sari
this?
or a suit or a shirt, how can we do
So
that?
I'm just going to do a few pieces. So this is a denim. Let me just get the camera. Yeah. So what I would always say is open out the denim fully. Yeah.
Okay.
And fold it to half, leaving like the top 1 inch out. Can you see it? Yeah.
Yes,
Always
yes.
when you're working
Yeah.
with clothes, just remove the crease by just patting them gently. So leave the one, like the idea always is to get like a rectangle in your clothing before you get them to file fold. Leave 1 inch in the top and don't take it like till the end, but just take it till 1 inch before. Then
Okay.
divide your denim into 3 parts and then just do 1 and 2, and you've just folded it in. That's about it. It's as simple as it. It all stands well, and you can just keep it stacked. You don't need to do
Oh,
anything. You can keep it stacked in a nice box and it will just stay good.
otherwise also we can just
Yeah, I'm just going
place
to
it
do this
vertically in the
again.
wardrobe. It will stand tight, I guess.
Yeah, so and I feel like also the clothes stay greater when they're just snugged in nicely, because I feel like each one gets their spot rather than everything stacked on top of one another. So like I
Yes.
said, get the button part inside, fold it, take it into the long fold that you normally have, fold it in till you have like left 1 inch on the top. Crease,
Okay.
like press it down every time that you're working with any garment. Take like a sit on your dining table or on the floor while you're doing this. Always divide it into 3 parts and then just fold them in 1 and 2.
2. Okay.
That's about it. And you can use this to fold your leggings. You can use this to do any other garment. So I'm just going to show a shirt, which is your typical full sleeve shirt that you would have. And when you're working with shirts, fold them into like how we typically fold our shirts in, like not from the center, but take the left part in. And if you have a long sleeves, pull the long sleeves out like this. Fold it in and again take the other side in.
Yeah.
And as you're working, just press it in, because that also removes the crease from the clothing, especially if you're keeping your clothes without doing the laundry and like without ironing it. Pull out the sleeves to the full length. And again, the same thing, take it in, but don't take it fully in till the bottom, and divide it into 3 parts and fold it as 1 and 2. And that's about it. And all this will just stay beautifully just like this wherever you keep it. So I feel like once, and if you have like it's a long kurta, like a big kurta like this, and if it's got a long hair, the same thing, just fold them in like how you get it from the dhobi. Keep it narrow, fold the sleeves in, The same thing on the other part, fold it in, keep the sleeves in, take it into a smaller rectangle. So like from a long rectangle of a kurta, take it into a smaller rectangle
Okay.
and
Mm-hmm.
just sit down nicely, and just remember to have three equal parts,
Three equal.
and one, yeah, and two. And I think this applies for t-shirts. This, if you have like a long dupatta, I don't have one here, but like if you have a t-shirt, again the same funda applies. Like open it out, like always open, press it down so that you remove the creases, fold one part in. This one doesn't have a long sleeve, so I don't need to do anything with this. Fold the other part in.
Mm-hmm.
Keep this portion as narrow as you can. Take it inside into a smaller rectangle, leaving like almost an inch on the top, and then just divide it into three equal parts. And that's about it. And all these will get beautifully stacked next to one another, and you will be able to see your clothes so much better when they're stacked vertically like this, because you know what you have. Like, just look at
Yeah,
this.
this
Like,
is
you
really
actually see
interesting.
what's there. And then you can take it to another level by putting things of, like, I do this with dupattas and it works great, that you put it according to the color. Even with denims, when you put it according to color, it just becomes easier for you to reach out to what you want.
Great.
Anything else that you would like to know, ask? I don't know, I've missed questions or
Yeah, so
comments.
Rohini, I also wanted to know that we always want to keep the best mix of Indian wear that we wear outside, like for parties and stuff, and the ones that we wear regularly, along with the regular office going clothes. So, I mean, how do we divide that into hangers? Because it gets really messy, and going through each and every hanger in the morning to see what is
Yeah.
there and what's not. Is there a way to organize that also?
Yeah, so like I said, I would use my primary space into what I wear on a daily basis. So, like your party clothes is not something you wear on a daily basis. So, you don't want to go through 50% of your wardrobe on a daily basis, which is something you don't wear. So I would remove, like, for me personally, my party, and even in party, like what you wear for a party with friends and what you wear for a wedding and functions like Indian functions is very different outfits.
Mm-hmm.
So I have my wardrobe organized more in terms of what my occasional use is. So my party clothes are kept in the lowest shelf, like in boxes like this, because I know that when I'm going for a party, I would have that time to take out, iron out. I don't want to wear greasy clothes. I'm not in a rush to get ready and go. They're kept in baskets. So I just need to pull out the basket. I see what I want, take it, and put it back and go. Whereas my everyday clothes are hung so that it's quick for me to just pull out, take that hanger into my bathroom, get ready, and go. So I would not mix my party clothes with my regular clothes, because I
Okay.
feel like on a daily basis, I don't want to. Like, if it's my regular clothes, I would do all my regular pants and tops that I wear or dresses that I wear together, so that it's easier for me, that I only need to look at that cupboard on a daily basis and every morning.
Otherwise, I guess all of us do this that bahar pehne wale clothes we hang up in the hangers, and the regular clothes we stack and pile up on the.
Exactly, but imagine that bahar pehne wala, you literally use it 5 times in a month
I
max, or
know,
like,
yes, yes.
and they're
So this,
taking up your prime space.
yeah, so this
And
alteration will really help, I guess.
And I also feel like we need to make our life easy on a daily basis. So,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, like even in terms of footwear, I feel like put out in the easiest and the nicest part the footwear that you wear daily, because it's just easy for you to pull out that cupboard, see what you're wearing, and take it in. Even if your footwear that you don't wear that often is even packed and kept in the back, when you have to, ideally everything should be out nicely displayed, put in the same place, put all your footwear. But if it's not, if you have a space crunch and you're not able to, prioritize your everyday use, because that's what you're using on a daily basis and that's what
Mm-hmm.
consumes most of your time.
Yeah. So I think we have one question from Kaushal Jain. He's asking about the blankets of adults and kids to be kept together in a wardrobe space itself. What about that?
So I think it depends on what space you have. Like for me, I just have only one extra blanket and pillow set or whatever for my kids, and their bed has a storage below which is kept. But if you, it really depends on what kind of a space you have. And Kaushal, if you can just type in what kind of a space, perhaps I would be able to help you better. But otherwise, I would just keep wardrobe for clothes, guys. Like really, I think just use one space for what it is, until unless there's some compelling reason where like you're in a joint family, you're sharing, like you only have one dedicated room for yourself. That's a very different scenario. But typically, like I see in a lot of people's case where their files are in their wardrobe, their random stuff is in their wardrobe, gift stuff is in their wardrobe. Use your wardrobe for just everything related to your wardrobe. It could, if you have space after using it for your daily wear, use it for your party wear, use it for your wedding clothes, use it for all of it. And use the other spaces in the house for things like put all your linens together, like put all your blankets, pillows, everything together, because then it just becomes easier for you when you want to like we go through a process where in one day everyone's linen gets changed. So it's just easier that I go to one spot, pick out everything. Or if you have guests coming, you know what is there and you can use what is there and play with what is there in your home. But keep your wardrobe just for your clothes and match then your accessories and bags. But don't mix and match and put blankets and gifts and files and stuff like that in your wardrobe. Like highly, like a big no for me at least.
There is someone
And
who
the
wants to take a look at the boxes again, if you can do
these
that.
these are called IKEA cups. They come in 3 sizes. These are like my go-to for wardrobe organizing. But if you're in Delhi and IKEA doesn't deliver, this is even there on Amazon. And if you just go to Amazon and look for home or wardrobe organizers, they're great options that will fit all kinds of budgets. But I would again say that work with shoe boxes that you have, gift boxes that you have, till you feel right about what is working for you. Then you can buy the exact size boxes.
Okay.
And repurpose, guys. Like right now, I think if anything, we all need to get more sustainable. Sorry, there was something about bathrooms. So there's a question about how do I manage clothes that I, sorry,
Yeah.
how do I manage clothes that I wish to repeat? I hate to hang them in the bathroom and behind the door. So two things about it. One, air them out. Put them out in the sun. Like what I do is I put it out where I dry your clothes on a daily basis. Like I put it in a hanger and put it out. If it's not smelly, if it's great, once you've really put it out in bright sun, fold it and keep it back. Because if it's not smelling, if it's good, it should be as good as going into your cupboard. If not, please put it for a wash, because there's nothing in between. So there's no like I will wear it for a half an hour the next time. If it's still got that musty smell of sweat,
Yes.
just put it for a wash. And if it's not, and if it's really smelling fresh after being out in the sun, put it back in your cupboard, because you can always wear it and take it out from there when you want to. I missed some question, I think. Sorry. Anything else,
Okay, great.
Gunjan?
I guess we have covered pretty much all the questions that were asked, and I think it was a great session, Rohini. If there is any extra pro tip that you want to add, then you're most welcome.
I think my only pro tip to anyone is declutter, declutter, declutter. And I think people who attended or like backpacking. What do you mean by backpacking, Anisha? Like the bags that you have, handbags?
I guess
For
he's talking about
handbags,
traveling, maybe traveling bag.
none of us are traveling for a while at least. So I would think like again with traveling, what works great is storing things vertically, and it's something I've done since my kids have been like really small, because I feel like even if you don't have a space where you can remove and put things, just yeah, thanks Anisha, you've clarified that it's for suitcase, and just by keeping
Mm.
them vertically, I just feel
Mm.
you see everything. It's like you have a glance of the whole wardrobe that you've carried with you, and it's just easier to pull. Again, they're compartmentalized. Have a small pouch for your innerwear, have a pouch for your earrings and accessories. But your primary clothes, have them all vertically, like just this way. Like I'm going back to this again and again. Imagine having your whole suitcase like this. Then you know what you want to pick, what you want to wear for which occasion, and it just becomes very, very easy. For me, I feel like vertically packing clothes in my suitcase has been a huge game changer because I just can sit and see everything in one go. So it just becomes easier that I'm not like pulling things out or not worrying what I have to wear when or how much of what I have. How to declutter cosmetics. So whenever you're decluttering anything, this is like a simple thing that works for any category, be it clothes or whatever. First, compartmentalize it, like put all your eye products together. And even in that, further divide, like it could be eyeshadows, eyeliners, it could be mascaras, put your highlighters together, put your concealers together. First, segregate everything. Once you've segregated, go category by category. So once you look at your nail polish, you know, okay, I'm wearing this, I'm not wearing this. I've had this for so long, but I've not worn it, which means goodbye, see you, tata. And so keep only things that you really love. Like it should be your favorite products, and that's your biggest game changer, guys. Like the minute everything that you own are things that you really love, that's how much you value your own time and yourself. Why would you put substandard things on your face or your hands or something that you really don't like? What happens is when you have that, you're never going to gravitate towards it because you will always have more favorite products. So might as well just only have your favorites that you're gravitating towards.
That's nice. That's a very, very
Yeah.
nice point, actually.
Because that's a fact, right? So today, if I have to step out, I'm only going to pick my favorite bag. I'm not going to pick that secondary, not so great bag because it's never going to make me feel great. So I'm not going to. So what is it doing in my wardrobe in the first place? Why should I even give it that space? So once you've segregated your makeup like this and you've decided what to keep and let go of products that are expired, especially for face and skin, as much as we feel they look great, the life shelf of products you will know how, like it's normally 1 to 2 years max. So if you've not used it, something's over, just let it go. And then again, for beauty products, compartmentalize it. Have like one small basket for just your eye products. Have like a small tray for, like, you know, even you could just use old marks to put all your lip pencils. So just compartmentalize it so that it just becomes easy. And when you're standing, you're able to see the whole thing in one go. So when you're getting ready, you know what to play with. Somebody had asked about their kids, how to declutter their kids. I don't want to throw away any of my kids' toys, even when they grow out of it, because I like them. Is it normal? No, it's not normal. But parents, I think, are more obsessed with toys in my experience than kids are, because when we work with kids, and my kids have started decluttering since they were 2.5, and I've had clients whose kids are like almost like, I've recently worked with someone who with the child was not even able to fully speak sentences, but the child was very clear on what they love playing with and what they love using. So it was very easy. I had to just show her, and she's like, no, yes. And we went through her entire full room of toys in like 20-25 minutes because she was so clear what she loved playing with, despite what is expensive, what by grandparents. I think with kids' room, it's a lot to do with us parents wanting to not let go. Kids
Oh,
are
yes.
fairly okay. Like I know mine, they play with their select 4-5 toys, and that's all matters.
Yeah.
And also, you know, there's so much science and papers that to support that we really need to go minimalistic with kids spaces, because it not only gives them that clarity of space where they're able to think and have ease and not have clutter all the time, but also it helps them multitask and use toys differently. They're not using it just for one function. Like I know that my son uses Jengas, which are these blocks, wooden
Yes.
blocks, to make boundary lines when he's doing his role play of playing a cricket match. Yeah.
Oh,
So that is how kids are able to, because they then are creative with the resources that they have. And there's so
yes.
much, like you just Google and find minimalistic kids toys and why we need to have minimalistic toys for kids. So I think it's like I always give this example, right? Like what kind of a place do you like to go in? Like there are those showrooms where you walk in, everything is beautifully displayed. There's separate racks. You know, you go there for your t-shirts, you go there for your kids stuff. There's a shelf separately for you know, like shoes, versus there's these stores where everything's stacked in that cupboard where you literally have to say that bhaiya wo nikalo is size mein hai kya. So it's the
Hmm.
same thing in our home, right? Like our any space, be it your kid's space, be it any kind of space, be it your kitchen, should feel like that shop where you can actually see what you want without having to ask for help. And if you as a parent want to raise independent children, I think it's really important to keep their room minimal so that they're able to navigate it very easily. They're able to access things very easily. And somebody's written, pass it on to your best friends, orphanage, your building workers, your staff at home, to give away. There are plenty of places, guys. And I think that's the good part about being in India, because it's easy to pass it on to someone who actually would use it rather than find donation centers. In our immediate environment, there are a lot of people, and let go, because I really believe that when you let go and create space in your home, you become an invitation for nicer things to come in. Until you let go and create that space, it's never, you're not even going to cherish the new toy that comes in or the new clothes that comes in, because it'll just be somewhere lost in that cupboard. So create space so that you can really be an invitation for nicer, greater things.
That is great, Rohini. I think we all really enjoyed this session. Guys, please do not
Thank you so
forget to
much.
tell us if you really want to also know other parts you want to declutter, like kids or stuff, so that we can pick up another episode with Rohini. Rohini, I'm sure you would do that. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you
Uh,
so much for this
Thank
wonderful
you.
session.
It was lovely
And we
talking to
all
you.
are going to
Thank you so
declutter this Sunday, I guess.
much.
Thank
Super.
you. Bye bye.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining in on a weekend. Thank you.